Hello,
Well, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And so
is,
far,
is Leslie with us?
Leslie will be along later for the
Oh,
next
okay.
meeting, not the first one.
All right.
Public comment. I would like to hear from, what am I going to hear from? I'm going to hear from Tamas in reference to, oh, there she is. Tamas, I'd like to hear from you in terms of somebody over on one of the streets we did that on the LA Young area that wanted to be removed from historic designation. Do you remember discussing that?
Well, let me, Carol, okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, sorry, Tamas.
That's okay.
Let me
Tell me
just
when
make
you're
it-
ready.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Nothing
Hi,
further from
Melinda's
them?
here.
Nothing
Hi,
further from them?
we're on the HDC right now. Linda.
Yes.
So I'm just going to bring up a picture here. Well, actually, whoop. So here's the list of in the ordinance of the LA Young Historic District.
It's still not showing, Tamas.
Not showing. Okay.
Yeah, so did you hit the share
Oh
screen?
yeah,
at the bottom? There you
I forgot
go.
to hit the share button.
Perfect. Yeah, now you just have to go to that window.
Okay. Now, can you see that?
Perfect.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
I can't, but
Okay. It's the group that's on the LA Young.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is just a list of everybody.
Okay.
And, I wanted to bring up that
okay.
this house on the corner,
Okay.
before they came to me, they took themselves off. I mean, these are the second owners from when we first put this on the ordinance.
Right.
Second owners came through and they took themselves off the list.
I see.
And so I did some work with them through the a contractor I work with, and we added on in the back. So this is
Okay.
before, and then this is after. So we added a kitchen and a master suite. So I did email them. I said, aren't you interested in getting back on? I'm trying to get them to come back on because
Okay.
they're well under 50% as far as what they added on. So I haven't heard back. They never wrote me. I wrote them and they said, oh, we hardly ever use this email, use this other emails, but I still haven't heard anything. So they
Okay.
went off, but I'm trying to get them back on.
Okay.
Amos, did they ever state the reason?
Well, it goes back to again that they were worried they couldn't do anything.
Oh,
They couldn't. They felt like they were being hindered by the ordinance to add on.
Yeah.
So that keeps coming up.
Yeah. But they had never come before the HDC to indicate that they wanted to do that, which
No.
they should have done. Yeah.
Yep, they just pulled themselves off.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So I mean, they did what they didn't ask. They were off by the time I was brought on. I mean, they're already off. So I couldn't even make my pitch because it was already over with. So this is another house that's also on the ordinance. And these people called me up. This is 1114 North Altadena. And same kind of thing. They wanted to add on in the back. Maybe not as extensive as the other people, but they wanted to add a master suite on the back. But then when we talked about budget, I was really concerned that they weren't going to meet the budget. And I was trying to get them either to come up with more money or reduce the scope of work. And they just kind of disappeared. So I don't know if they took themselves off the list or not.
okay.
But those are the two projects that I worked on or attempted to work on that I know about. The rest I don't
Okay.
really know.
Well, we can inquire from the building department whether they applied for anything at all to
Yeah.
go ahead and do any building. In that
Right, they
case,
could, they
Yeah.
could have hired somebody else, but it would probably still
Yeah.
be they still might be in the planning stage.
yeah. But if the building department has something, then they should have referred it to us
Mhm.
by this time. Yeah. Okay.
So we might have just, I mean, some people just decide, well, why don't I just sell it and buy a new house or a different house?
Yeah.
So I don't know, they're usually kind of slow in getting back with me anyway, so that could mean that they're just
Yeah.
got wrapped up in things and just didn't have time.
Well, give me the address later, and I'll check with the building department to see if anything has been requested by them,
Okay.
and that will tell us at that time. Okay.
Mhm.
I appreciate it, Thomas. Thank you.
Sure.
I'd like to move on to the Herman's Bakery. I think the Herman's Bakery people are here, and I did receive a phone call both from Mrs. Herman as well as from the son or grandson in reference to the building and what could be done since the former owner died. And I did go over some of the issues at the time, but from what I understand, they would like to continue the building being used as a bakery. And if so, I did advise them that whatever they do on the inside, that's up to them and the city. But if they decide to make changes to the exterior, i.e. windows, painting, whatever, then that should come before the HDC and for approval. And so if they are here tonight, I would be more than happy to hear what they have to say in addition to what we have discussed.
Ruth,
Okay.
was that paint job approved by the HDC?
That paint job was there before the HDC approved the place for historic designation. Yes. Dick
Okay.
Herman had done that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the paint job's relatively recent, but I don't know what year.
Yeah. But also the historic designation of Herman's Bakery was one of the more recent ones too. And Dick died not long after it was done. I mean, the historic designation. So there have been changes to the building since its original, and it's been there a long time. But anyway, this is, so if any of the Herman's Bakery people are listening to the meeting tonight, this is their time to speak up.
Well, we are here. Unfortunately, I don't have my setup with me because we drove over to the senior center, found it closed, and then found out the meeting was a Zoom meeting online. So I'm staring at my phone right now. So it's a little on
Okay.
the small side.
Okay.
Um,
And you are
this is Richard Herman, Dick's
Richard
son.
Herman. Yes. Okay. Very good. Richard, are there some questions that you have or things that you would like to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I am here. You're also on speaker with, my mother is also here along with my
Yes.
brother.
Okay.
And we are another one that, listening into your meeting here, it sounds like we are looking to withdraw the historic designation from the bakery.
Okay. We would have to look into what is required in order to do that. At this time, I don't have answers for that, but we can look into it and then contact you and let you know what would be necessary, if that's what you would like to do.
That is what we would like to do.
Okay.
Do you mind if I ask you why?
A host of reasons, but to begin with, there's no real nice way to say this. My father pushed this through behind my mother's back without informing her of his intentions. This was something that he wanted done, and he listened to nobody else, and he pushed to get it to have it done. So this was one of those this is one of those things that never should have happened had he communicated with my mother. And to be honest, from the stories that I heard growing up and from the times I remember from working there myself, if my grandfather had been around, he'd have smacked my dad upside the head just for suggesting it. My grandfather saw the building as a business. It was a place to work. My father saw it as a lifestyle, and he encouraged my brother and I to not take it up. We were both told from a young age, up until we were deciding what to do with our lives, that this was not the life for us.
I have to say, I interviewed your father a couple times while we were writing the report, and I thought he was a very, very fine man.
He was an amazing man. He wasn't just fine.
Yeah.
He was amazing, sir.
Yeah, I agree. I really, really did like him.
The guy could tell stories for hours and not repeat one.
I heard a few.
Thank you for sharing that with us. We really appreciate it. And we will
Certainly.
into what it may take to, de-designate it. Let me put that. I don't know if there's such a word, but I'll use that word. And
I'll take it. It works.
And I will be in contact with you. And you have both my address and my phone number, do you not?
Yes, ma'am.
It's Ruth Cleveland. And if you wouldn't mind, send me a small note to my home indicating what you would like to do, and leave your phone number and address on there so that I can contact you when I learn something more quickly, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else that we want to bring up at this point?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I think we shall move on if there isn't any other business for tonight. I will call for an adjournment. I don't know if Patrick WROK is still with us. Perhaps Patrick would, or Muriel.
I'm still here.
Pardon?
Still here.
Okay. How about
I'm still here.
Okay. We need a motion for adjournment. I don't hear anybody.
All so moved.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Second.
Okay.
Camus, are you
Camus?
finished with what you wanted to say?
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say more, but I didn't realize that they were gonna take themselves off the list. I'm quite shocked, actually.
Yeah, I'm kind of stunned, but it sounds like the decision's already made.
Yeah. I don't think there's any backtracking.
No.
Didn't really answer why, just something about family politics, but the real reason why,
Mhm.
I didn't really feel he addressed, but
No,
no use arguing.
yeah, it's too deeply.
Adjourn officially.
Officially adjourned as
Okay.
of.
So I can
I'm not sure
just,
what time it is. Huh?
just add to that story
It's
that
7:15.
we did hear that in the city manager's office that, that Mr. Herman wanted the historic designation and Mrs. Herman didn't want it. So we had heard that in fact, right after he passed away, we heard that. And that she might be asking to have the historic designation removed. I think that was part of when a real estate broker was working with them on possibly selling the building to have that historic designation taken off because it might be a hindrance to a real estate deal. So that was what we had heard in this office. So, and then nothing ever happened on it. So, and I mean, it doesn't affect the real estate deal. Because Metals and Time bought a building with a historic monument on it, and that wasn't a problem. But, and now if they're gonna run it as a bakery, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it would have gone further, I was going to bring up the fact that the tax credits are working their way back into the scope of things. And if they wanted to make some repairs, since it's historically designated, they could have gotten some tax credits on repair, like the windows. They could have gone, I understand the windows. I mean, you could tell that they're replaced because they're aluminum clad, but if they wanted to go back to the original look of a historic storefront, they probably could have gotten tax credits. I mean, it might have taken a while because.
This is Melinda. It might be helpful to let them know about those tax credits before they make their final decision.
Yeah, I mean, I was afraid to bring it up because they seemed, I mean, I could just feel kind of an anger in the background.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick that up too.
So
On the
maybe-
follow-up conversation, who's he going to get in contact with?
He's going to get in contact with me.
Okay.
And when he does, I will go over that business about the tax thing. See, they had phoned me a while back, a week or two ago, and I had heard the same thing from both of them at that time, that they were opposed to their husband and father going ahead with the historic designation. But I remember, being before the city council when the city council approved it. And he was the only one who showed up at that particular meeting to say, yes, I do want it done. He did it at that time in memory of his father, whom he
Interesting.
thought about. Yes.
And I will say it is an ordinance, so it's gonna have to be, the ordinance will have to be rescinded. It will have to go to the city commission for determination.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can't just, say, we'll take pages 2 and 3 out of the ordinance book and be done of it,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Well,
there is gonna be a process for them if they decide to go ahead.
Well,
I think it might be really beneficial to, for now, put together like a little cheat sheet with bullets, as it were, to say, here are the advantages to being historically designated. And then from that cheat sheet, develop a brochure that can be mailed out. And I think it might be, if we can develop that, I'd like to share it with the community development department, because I'd be worried that they've had a high turnover of people who work the phones and work the counters. So I'd want to share it with them to make sure they're not giving out any misinformation. When somebody calls in to get a permit, that they say, oh, you got to go before the Historic District Commission. And, let's just make sure that they have information on how easy that is to do.
Right.
Then,
yes.
And then another thing is, while you were talking about the people from LA Young, maybe we put that together and we mail it to each of those homes and say, did you know that because you're in this district, you can still do this to your home, you can still do this. If you want to do this, you need to contact us. Did you know that you're eligible for, tax credit, something like that, to stop anybody who may be getting this information and wanting to leave the
I
district.
think that's a good idea.
Like a preemptive strike, if you will.
Yeah.
I think too, when people whose home is designated historic, that they sell the homes, the information that is transmitted to the new owners is probably not very complete.
Mhm.
It's just, well, this home is designated historic, blah, blah, and probably very little more than that. So the second owners and or third may not feel as comfortable with the house remaining as designated. So,
And
yes,
that might be another step, is to create from the cheat sheet, from the brochure, something that's specific to the property owners that say, congratulations on your home being historically designated. Here are things
Yeah.
you should know, like how to order the plaque and when
Yeah.
the meetings are and things like that. And then that could be something they could pass on to the next owner too.
yes, very definitely.
So, I mean, if we
Okay.
want to, if you guys want to help me to develop that stuff, I'm glad to, like get it branded and get it printed and we can start by putting things on the website.
Yeah, we've got a couple things but we probably need somebody in marketing and branding to kind of pick it up, because we did a brochure, but it's quite old, so it's probably a little ragged looking. And then Leslie Snow did a F&Q list, and that's pretty helpful, but it might need some graphics or something to make it interesting. But it seems like also the idea of like going directly to people, just more of a personal approach rather than just generic, but a personal
Yeah.
approach. Your house is, or your building is designated, and we really appreciate that. Did you know that there may be tax credits in the future for you?
Yeah, that would be good. And I'm sure if you get me the basic stuff and I kind of do a little bit of formatting, I can give it to Judy Davids, our communication specialist, and she's extremely good at creating the literature and branding it and everything. So
Yeah.
putting photos in. So she would help us. She absolutely 100% would help us with that.
That sounds very good, Melinda. We're moving on to about 7:23 p.m. and we have completed with the Historic District Commission, and we could think about starting the meeting for the Historic District Study Committee. I have a few items on that agenda which need to be covered, and a little bit early, we're a few minutes early, but I see Patrick Andrews is out there, and so we have Tamas and we have Rob, and who else have we got?
Aren't you waiting on Leslie?
Leslie, is Leslie with us yet?
Is Chris going to join us tonight?
As far as I knew, Chris was going to.
I must say, I hope this meeting turns a little more upbeat, because I'm starting to get depressed.
Don't be.
Oh, I got good news from Carol. Really good news.
Hey,
Good
Chris,
news.
The
Go
good
ahead.
news is that the city manager has given the go ahead on this. Oops, am I sharing, Carol?
Oops, I went off for a second. You are not right now. So you
Okay.
gotta
Hi,
hit the-
Chris. Chris is here. Okay,
Chris, you're muted.
Tamas, go
Yes.
ahead.
Okay. All right, hold on here.
There you are.
Yeah.
Back to Herman's.
Yeah.
I miss Herman's soup on Fridays.
So I did this. Now, are you seeing this?
Yep.
I
Okay,
am.
good. So this is going back to the parcels. This is partly what Chris brought up. I mean, let's go to the original parcels. So I in the red is the original parcels where the building is.
Which building are we talking about?
Oh yeah, sorry. We're talking about the farmer's market.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry, I got, well, it all was spurred by Rob's getting depressed, which is totally understandable. So this is what I was proposing. Following the parcel lines, you can see these dashes. This was actually an old alley here where this porch is. then this is a parcel and this is a parcel, which include the loading dock right here. So, so this is what I put together, parcel 7, 8, 9, 10, and this alley, that's the parcels. And Carol wrote back this evening to say that the city manager approved it and is gonna work with the title company to put it all together. So
Yep.
that is good, really good news.
And to further that, the city engineer got back with me and I have the name and the phone number for the person at the title company that we use. So I will call them tomorrow or Monday
Mhm.
and get them on that.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
So Rob, that is so good news.
Yeah,
I
Okay.
mean, it's only taken like 2 years, but I think we made some headway.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
yeah.
And very soon, we're really hopeful to have a city attorney. They're doing second interviews on Wednesday. So that helps the process too, because when you are floundering with questions, you know, you want to have a city attorney who you can ask those questions.
Exactly. And I believe it's the city attorney who puts the ordinance together. So when it goes on the historic district ordinance, I'm pretty sure it's the attorney who does
Well,
that.
sometimes it's me, Tanis.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When I was the secretary in there between times when Dave was not the city attorney, I would do it so it would get done.
Well, thank you.
I actually wrote the LA Young one.
Oh, you did? Nice
Yeah,
job.
and I think I wrote one other.
Great. Now I know. Thank you.
Well, I would like you all to know that officially the meeting of the Historic District Study Committee has started. And we've moved along to comment.
I was trying to boost Rob up. It was a booster for Rob.
Job.
Very good.
You know, I have to tell you that Herman's thing really hit me because
Yeah,
I got to tell you, I worked really hard on that.
I know.
For them just to, you know, up and leave and not so much as a explanation.
Right.
It's really, it really hit me.
Yeah. Well, not only that, I mean, it's like totally ignoring the wishes of the guy who was working there every day. I mean, what happened to his wishes? I mean,
Yeah, well, I wasn't gonna bring that up, but I thought the same thing, but
yeah,
that hurt.
definitely.
Anyway,
Definitely.
full steam ahead.
And shall we move on a little bit to the, we had been asked by the Burns family to visit and take a look at their house for a possible historic designation, that is to study it. And we had a date for them. However, that date has now been changed.
Oh,
And you need to know the date that they would be available is April 18th. That's a Sunday at 2 p.m.
Just the date change.
Yeah. They had a different date originally, but they were unable to meet that date. So she called me and asked if we could meet on the 18th of April. So you can put that on your agenda. Okay?
make sure Leslie finds out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leslie,
And if we can't make it, we should let who know? Who know?
you should let me know so that I'll know
Okay.
how many people are going to show up. And we like to cover everything from the basement to the attic and any auxiliary buildings on the property. And we take a look at everything, the flooring, the walls, whatever, to see, you know, what is the original and what was the style of that particular home. And then we discuss it and decide whether it would qualify. Okay?
Okay,
Chris,
So real
Chris did a
quick on
bunch
that
of-
one,
Yes,
were they invited to this meeting? Because I know she offered feedback last time. Maybe she watched it afterwards, but did they have an invite for this meeting to be on and maybe talk more about it?
they were invited, but I'm not sure whether they couldn't make it or what. I don't know. But I do have their phone number and I can give them a call and see what might have changed.
Oh,
Okay.
excuse me for 1 minute.
Yeah,
Also, Chris, what happened to Chris? Chris did a bunch of pre-research as he.
yes, he
found
did.
it too. A lot of
Yeah.
research, so, but he might have stepped away.
I can
for a
hear you.
moment.
Can you
Oh,
hear
hi,
me?
hi,
I'm
Hi,
just
Chris.
being quiet today.
okay.
Okay. You did quite a bit of research into the style of house or something else, Chris? Would you
I
like
did a
to
number
share
of, a
that?
couple of things.
Yeah.
One, I went after to see if I could find anything in the paper, and then with link to the Tribune, we can go on there and we can search. It's kind of hard to search because it doesn't give you a page. It gives you the issue that it's in, but then you have to actually read every page to try to find the article that they're in. Just the family alone is mentioned in 156 times in the Tribune. And that sounds encouraging, but when you actually start to look at it, they played sports, they baseball, and a number of things. So it mentions things like that. Or if some family visited them, or if their children got married. Nothing about the house so far that I can find. And then on the reference, and if you go by Osborne, which is the name of the subdivision that they're from, that one has over 1,000 hits with Osborne in it. And so that one's even more difficult. But so far, nothing that, what I'm trying to find is an advertisement that says, this is that subdivision, this was for sale, to go after that first. Can't find anything on that. Can't find out anything that they did, anything unusual yet, as far as just having a normal good life in Royal Oak. They were very active in the community, sports, school board, PTSA, all kinds of stuff like that. But so far, nothing out of the ordinary to make it historic. So I went after that route first. And then I went after to see if the house was unique in any way. So then Royal Oak roughly has about 23,000 houses that we know of. And of course, that changes every day as we build new ones. And so of that, so far, there's roughly about 170 houses that were built in 1928. And looking through that, there are about 5 houses that are similar to it, but it's not unique in a sense yet that I can find. There are a number of them like it, but not exactly. Let's see what else. I know the first owners. I know they lived on the street. The people that built it lived on the street first, and then they built their house. Then their son bought it, and then the son dies there, and then it goes on to 2 other people before or 1 other person before the Burns buy it. So far, that's what I found.
Okay, all right. Well, we should still pay the house a visit and take a look at it, as we have with all houses or all properties, to just go and have a look and see if there's anything in the house or on the property or anything else that might be added to it in order to make it. Okay?
Okay,
And we have the date, so. Okay,
Yes,
everybody all right with that?
yes.
Yep.
Okay.
yes.
Yep.
Okay. And any other item that you would like to bring up?
I have a question for Melinda.
Yes,
Yep.
go ahead.
You mentioned at one time we're doing the farmer's market thing. You mentioned a Bob Seger concert.
Yes.
Well, I've been looking for it. And it's made easier because the Tribune is available now online. Do you have any idea what year?
Oh, I can look that up and I'll shoot you an email.
Thank you. That
I
makes the
did
search a
see
lot
an
easier.
article in the Oakland Press that
Okay.
made reference to it.
Okay.
I believe it was 1967.
In the Oakland Press.
Yeah.
All right, I was looking at the Tribune.
And I saw reference on Facebook of, I'll see if I can pull that up right now. That's where I saw the reference of the woman from Royal Oak who still must live in Royal Oak about dancing, seeing Seeger dance on top of the car or
Yeah,
have the.
That's a good image.
Um,
Okay, see what you can find out. I was looking in the Tribune and I spent a good couple hours and I couldn't find anything, but it's there somewhere. But yeah, if you can at least narrow it down to a year, that makes it easier.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there's a reference. I just Googled it real quick, and it says Bob Seeger talks about his Royal Oak experience when he met Glenn Fry, and it is mentioning
Yes,
1966, and it is going.
And if
to,
you read down, I think it's near the bottom of that article that makes reference to somebody who was in attendance. I think it was two girls talking about attending it, and somehow I thought that was 67.
I can't get on Facebook on my work computer, so it blocks that. But it does say that it teases you and it gives you a little brief review of what it is. In that article, does it mention the girls' names? I wonder if we could find them and talk to them and see if they are.
The one I saw on Facebook did, so I'll try and track that down, and I'll just shoot an email to the group.
Okay.
Chris, where did you find that?
I just as we were talking, I just Googled it real quick. And it popped up on, I typed in Bob Seeger Farmers Market Royal Oak, and that's what came up. That was
I've never heard of me to do that.
And was that the Oakland Press article?
Further down, it says looking back, Oakland Press, that's another one. But that's about a fan club that started in Royal Oak.
What's looking back?
That's the name of the article. It says looking back news, Oakland County Press.
Oh, Oakland County Press. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. I'll see
what I can find out.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's not essential, but it's a nice thing to have in there, a little color.
Yep. Yeah, because it's like you can picture it.
Yeah.
We need to update the final report to show the boundaries. And if we could have that in the final report with Bob Seeger, that would wrap up our.
Okay. Well, I've still got it. I can incorporate it.
Okay.
Okay, that would be good.
And then, Ruth, how do we prepare the final report?
We can prepare the final report once we get additional information from Carol in reference to the boundaries and so forth. And then as soon as she can give that to me, then I will call all of you and we can have, an instant meeting, so to speak. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's get the Bob Seeger story in the final report.
Yeah, and that can be put in, and then, so we could even meet before next month, April. I don't know what the date would be for next month.
Well, Ruth and everybody else, thanks for working on that property description. That was kind of a little dragged out.
Yeah, well, we asked multiple times, but we seem to be getting someplace finally.
Yeah.
I had another item here. Leslie was going to work on a new member orientation procedure. I don't know where we are in terms of that, but it is something that we need to put together before too long, say within the next 2-3 months, before summer, before we discontinue for the summer, because April, May, and June are coming up.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, Leslie.
I'm sorry, my computer is old and it just technical difficulties. Anyways, I'm calling here from Royal Oak. I'm working on the new member thing. I'm just sort of compiling information. And then also I've been sort of waylaid. We'd have a bunch of projects going on at my house. And then also my father-in-law has been having some health problems. So I've just been, anyways, I need to work on it, but I've just been a little bit preoccupied with personal things, I guess. But
Understood.
yeah, it's on my list to work on. So I just need to sort of compile information I already have and then like fill in the gaps with what resources that we use to write the report. So I guess I'll probably reach out to you guys individually, based on the areas of the report that you work on, where people could find that information.
You've done a wonderful job, Leslie, and
Yes, thank you.
the minutes are just extraordinary.
No
And
problem.
We really appreciate that.
Okay.
Very, very much.
Thanks.
Okay, Melinda, one last thing. You had mentioned at one time that you might want to bring up some properties that we could consider for historic designation in the future. In the city of Royal Oak, the ruling is that the property owner must approach us, but that isn't to say that if we had the name of different places that we couldn't approach them gently and diplomatically and see if they were interested. So if you have some that you're interested in, Melinda, please let us know, okay?
Okay. Yes. I was going to say the one I made reference to before of the Bill Williams, I did a little research and I just didn't think that would really go anywhere, I didn't see anything there. The other one that I mentioned on Lakeview, I did drive by it and I looked it up and it looked like it was the 111 address on Lakeview, if that's what it's called, that little area. But when I went by it, it looked like it was all chained up. In fact, some of the houses there, they just don't even look like they're really living in it. So anyway, I'd say for now, I put that on back burner.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that area, I mean, I forgot about it till Leslie kind of reminded me that was on my list as well. And it is interesting partly because of that not the lighthouse, but the whatever that building is on the lake.
The windmill?
The windmill, that's it. Couldn't think of the word. The windmill.
Right, that's the one that said the 111 address. And that's the person who I was thinking of, which were the Gabler family who owned Hagelstein's Bakery.
Okay.
We looked at that. We did some preliminaries.
Yes.
And, it's a very it's a short street.
Yeah.
And as I recall, nobody was interested.
Yeah.
So, that was a few years ago. We can try again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then the one house that is kind of abandoned, that's been notoriously abandoned for a while because I know that people keep getting asked, like, what's with that house?
It's owned by the Dixon family. I tried to buy it.
Ah,
They would not respond. The family, I think it's owned by their children or the estate. So don't know if the people that own it are still alive, but they won't respond to you. I know exactly where the kids live, but no one would respond, so I didn't buy it.
Huh.
It's been vacant
Interesting.
for as long as I can remember. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is there? 7 houses on that street. And it's Lakeside Drive. The oldest one is the 1917, and that's the one that's right on Main Street. It's back. It's to Main Street, that big one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the oldest house. The Hagelstein house is built in 1935. So it's a believe it or not, it's a newcomer on that street. Right next to it is built in 1940. But most of them are built from 25 to 35 in that range.
So the house that was on Main Street, that just went up. That was just sold recently within the last 5 years, right? The oldest one.
That went up for a lot. Yeah, that went for quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Just within the last 5 years, though, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I know the
Okay.
owners of that one.
Chris,
And
as I
then-
recall, that's a dirt street, isn't it?
It is dirt. It's one of my running routes, so I go down it quite a bit.
But then, so the Hagelstein one is the one with the pool and the windmill and the lake, and that was built in 1935, you said?
That's what it looks like.
Yep, 1935.
I wonder if the river probably used to run right by that house then too, I guess, right? Or when was that enclosed, in the 30s?
What we were told, weren't we told by somebody that they enclosed the they built that wall up and they enclosed that area. It used to be much larger. And if they removed the wall at the one side, it would flow all to the park.
Yeah.
Something like that. Someone told us that. I don't remember who.
Yeah. I don't remember either, but yeah, that does sound familiar.
But the valley there, that's where the Red Run.
It is,
That,
it is
it was
low.
closed.
It is
Right.
low there.
Yeah.
Correct.
yeah.
You know, and that area is interesting because isn't that where they found the Revolutionary War, not Revolutionary War, the British soldiers were killed there and they were buried right near there someplace?
What?
Do you remember that story?
Oh my God.
I do not.
Somewhere close to there.
Jeez.
Someone was digging in their farm field and they found the remains of these two British soldiers. It was
Oh
in
my
the
God.
Perkins book or something.
Oh,
Wow,
Yeah, really close to that area.
that makes it historic.
I
If
know.
we could prove it was on that
Wild.
lot.
You never know what you're gonna find when you start digging, believe me.
That's right.
Anyway, is there anything else? Is there anything you'd like to bring up, Patrick?
Well, I think we should tell Leslie that the meeting, the tour of that house has been changed to April 18th.
I think
Are
we
you-
lost-
Are you
Still
still
at-
with us, Leslie?
Yeah, still at 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yes, still at
April
2, but
18th.
on the 18th of April.
And then to go back, did we approve the minutes?
We
Did
did
not.
not approve the minutes.
Oh, okay.
We need a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a
So
motion
moved.
to approve.
Was that Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, second?
Rob,
Okay, Rob. Everyone agreed?
I
agree.
Aye.
Okay,
yes.
okay. There being nothing else tonight?
And just for clarification, what Tamas showed us, we're going to use the dimensions that she showed, but the city is going to be doing a survey.
They're going to have a title company put together the legal description
Okay,
based on this, that email that I sent earlier that shows the parcel numbers, 7 through
Yes.
10. So
Okay.
we're gonna just put together the legal document for that. And then Carol will kind of help
I
us out there.
just to update you, I just sent an email to the lady whose contact information I was given at the title company. And I did CC Tamas and Leslie on there. Just, I know Tamas has been working on the paperwork and obviously Leslie's the secretary. So I see
Okay.
both of you.
Great, thank you.
awesome.
Okay. Then as soon as I hear from Carol, then I will notify all the rest of you and we can have a meeting to discuss completing the final report. Okay?
Okay,
So we don't have a date for the April meeting?
The April meeting should be the third Thursday as normal. But if something comes through before then, we could meet then. If not, then it would go through until the third Thursday of April.
Okay.
Are we meeting in person for that one? I know there was some talk of that.
I
Well,
don't see how that's practical. Leslie, have you been vaccinated?
I actually was
Oh,
yesterday.
okay, good. Tanis?
Somehow I signed up through the county and I got an email on Monday and I went to Rochester yesterday. So I had the Johnson & Johnson.
so
Beautiful.
you got
yeah.
the
Tanis,
single
have you?
one.
Yeah, coincidentally, I was also vaccinated yesterday too.
Oh,
The Johnson & Johnson, and it was actually through my neighbor, and her son is a chief of, or captain of the fire department in Sterling Heights, and whenever they get to the end, they don't have any more appointments, they want to make sure they fulfill all those doses. So I was the recipient of extra doses that wasn't
Excellent. How about Chris?
just recent.
Is
Yes,
Chris
I got
still-
mine last week.
oh,
Oh,
Okay,
I got Moderna, so I have 3 more weeks to wait for my second shot.
okay.
And Rob,
yeah.
I'm
I
still
have,
waiting.
I don't know. I don't know if Chris is comfortable. You know, usually you got to think of this as 6 weeks. I don't know if you'd be comfortable with in person before that.
I have no problem because
Okay.
I'll have my second shot after that, by that time.
All right.
Second shot is the
Well, then
15th.
we should be able to meet.
what about
So
Melinda?
this-
Yeah, what about Melinda? Sorry.
No, I'm really strict with this, so I would continue to call in.
Okay,
So the city commission on Monday night did a state of emergency and extended it through the end of May to be able to meet by Zoom. I did
Okay.
talk with the city manager today and I asked him, you know, if we have smaller groups that want to meet in person, how he felt about that. He said we could cross that bridge when we got to it. So let's say we wanted to have a hybrid where we met in person and Melinda called in. Because of the Open Meetings Act, you know, before we couldn't do that, but now we could do a hybrid version. I will tell you that city employees will receive their second doses on April 5th. So on April 19th, we'll be at 95% efficacy. And that's more than likely when the city will start opening more buildings, except for the numbers are not doing well right now.
Yeah.
The third Thursday is April 15th, next day. And it looks like that date would be good. The animal shelter meets that night also, the animal shelter committee, but one, I mean, I can put them on a different platform than what you guys are on.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm not in any big rush to,
No.
I'm
Yeah,
not in
there
a
are
rush.
5 Thursdays. 5
So
Thursdays in April. So.
either way, we can definitely meet on that day and you know, figure it out, whether it's a hybrid or it's on
either way,
Zoom.
I mean, this works well,
Yeah.
but again, there's no treats that Leslie can bring.
Well, I was thinking about individually packing them as, you know, a to-go sort of thing.
Oh, don't say stuff like
Do
that.
we have to do a Leslie DoorDash?
Yeah. Yeah. So don't worry. I've got you covered even if you can't eat them there. So.
I'll start checking my doorstep right away. Sorry about your father-in-law, by the way.
Oh, thank you. This has really come out of nowhere. So they're still trying to figure out what the issue is. There's multiple issues. And so anyways, I appreciate the thoughts for sure. We're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Well,
So.
wish him well. I know your father-in-law.
Yeah.
Wish him well.
Yeah, I will. So thank
Okay.
you.
All right, so is that it, Ruth?
Yes, I believe that is. And like, motion to adjourn, please.
So moved, Rob.
Okay.
I'll second.
I'm
Oh,
sure.
Leslie
Okay.
seconded it.
Leslie's second, and I'm sure everybody's in agreement.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Bye. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Appreciate-
Bye-bye.
I
Good night.
appreciate
Bye.
Carol very much for allowing us to do this.
Yeah.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. Oh, boy. There we go.